Eureka.
Villagara. Oh, I've heard your name.
Yes, yes, I ran for sheriff. But what I'm asking people is, what is your opinion on the police and how they deal with protesters on campus and off campus, but more specifically on the campus, where students should have more freedom? What is your opinion?
Not only should students have more freedom, but the police on campuses, like UC Davis and Berkeley, they're hired to protect the students from outside influence, like people that come in and rip off their laptops in the library or the dorms. So the job of campus security is to create security for the students, not to beat the hell out of them. Like they did, pulling them by the hair, shoving knives into the sternum, which would really damage somebody, and certainly pepper spray. That was an abomination of what campus security is all about.
Now, my question on that situation, do we see if there was any type of discussion with the students first, not just with the police, but let's say the services at the school that have contact, why were they brought out to first trying to negotiate and discuss with the students before they brought the police presence? Was that?
I'd never heard that happened.
And I think that is a key thing of where we first communicate and talk, so we don't go to that extent where you're saying. I agree. That's as a student now, a former student. Yeah, that was
well, particularly in Davis, where you could see Berkeley was very crowded, but at Davis, they were on a path between grass, and there were like about 20 students sitting on the ground. And what they're blocking, they weren't blocking access to any building. They were not creating a disturbance. They weren't yelling. They weren't even drumming. They weren't even chanting. They were just sitting there. And the campus security has often gone towards this idea. It's illegal to do that, so therefore we're going to beat the crap out of them. That is outrageous.
It is, and I like where you presented that they weren't doing anything, they were off on a separate side, and I agree. I agree that that was wrong, and I even look back now, nothing's happened to anybody involved. If we had did that ourselves as non-coppers here, we'd be arrested.
Well, and during the 1960s, I was a student at San Jose State.
Okay.
It was about 1970. Dow Chemical, the CIA, and the military were recruiting the old administration on 7th and Stanford Avenue. And there were about 3,000 students there, including me as a freshman. And we're just there all day long. And the president of the university, a little guy about smaller than you and I, Dr. Clark, an English professor, he came outside into the crowd, and we had a dialogue for 2.5 hours. We're having a dialogue on freedom of expression, the Bill of Rights, academic freedom. We're having a very nice dialogue, and there were police amassing on 7th Street and on 6th Street, and they had buses ready to arrest people. But nobody, there was no reason to arrest anybody because we were all sitting on the ground at 7th Street, on the street, just having a dialogue. And then 3 Hells Angels came down into the crowd. I was right there. They came on, and they looked like they were from Central Casting. One of them had a tire iron, another one had a motorcycle chain, and another one had a baseball bat. And they're wearing their Hells Angel colors, but they looked like a stereotype of what a gang, motorcycle gangs look like. And so the news reporters went to them and they said, "So what are you guys doing here?" And they said, "We're here to support the cops." Wow. And he says, "Well, how are you going to support them?" And they go like this, and immediately they started swinging their weapons. They didn't hit anybody, but they started swinging, and the crowd moved back. And as soon as they started swinging, we heard a police whistle, and the police, San Jose police moved in. San Jose police and sheriffs moved in and started shooting tear gas and busting heads, and it was all total chaos and a riot. But ever since then, I've said, when you go to a demonstration and somebody says, "Well, what time does the riot begin?" When the cops get there. Because if the police hadn't moved in, there was no riot. If they had not swung their weapons and hit anybody, we would continue to do the dialogue on academic freedom. It was like a philosophical discussion. And so the police shot into the crowd. Everybody ran. People tripped over themselves. One of my history professors got hit in the forehead with a tear gas canister right in front of me. I could not believe how much blood came out of that guy's head. And apparently he was was not suffered permanent damage. But there, about an hour later, there's tear gas powder everywhere, blood everywhere, people screaming and crying and saying, "What happened?" People arrested, and there was no need to do that. The dialogue would continue for a couple hours, and just like in the Occupy at UC Davis, if you want the people to get up, you just wait a couple hours. They're going to have to go pee. Nobody's going to pee on themselves, so they're going to get up and walk away.
What do you see as a solution for the type of actions? How can we mitigate them with everybody involved so it doesn't get to that point? What are some of your solutions so then hopefully the police can listen and start looking at those solutions so we don't get to the point where people are injured?
It's like City Hall?
We need to talk to each other, dialogue.
Exactly.
We have this beautiful, majestic plaza. We have that interesting building. We have this chamber that sits about 500-800 people. We can sit down and talk. We can sit out here and talk. We can bring a PA system out here from plugged in and talk to each other about the issues of the day. But no, we don't do that. They determined that this is illegal. It's an illegal assembly. You know what they're now saying? San Jose Police and the city administration? They're saying no structures. Okay, I understand. They don't want any tents. Okay, I understand. I can sleep there. This is not camping. They're now saying that a tripod is a structure. You can be arrested for having a tripod with a camera.
Wow.
Unless you're a news person that they recognize. Because I have a media pass, but they don't recognize that I'm part of media because I don't work for the major media. I'm freelance. They're now saying in Oakland, I saw this on the news, it was raining, it was at night, somebody was there with an umbrella. They said that's a structure. An umbrella is a structure. A tripod is a structure.
Wow.
So there was a guy here, oh, a chair is a structure. In fact, they said a chair is camping. I said, who goes camping in a chair? So there was a guy here in a wheelchair, and he is, he's got leg braces, George. So I said, so is he camping? Now remember, ADA.
Right.
And she says, no, he's not camping because he needs a wheelchair. So I said, well, what if I go sit on this lap in a wheelchair? Would I be camping? She says, yes, you'd be subject to arrest.
Wow.
I see, that's, George Orwell said, they're going to redefine. War is peace. Peace is war. And they're redefining everything. An umbrella is a structure. No, it's a very nice tool to protect yourselves from the rain. And it was raining. And so they're willing to arrest. And if you resist arrest from a cop, you know.
Yep.
The minute you go, hey, I didn't do anything, that's resisting arrest.
Yes. It's interesting because of the amount of energy they put into it, as I look at it, and with the lack of resources we have in the cities, all the cities, where now we're taking away resources because of their choosing the police. They're not out there working with the community. Here's one of the things I look at, which is the downfall of law enforcement. That nobody knows what community policing is, and that's, to me, within law enforcement, the problem. If we actually have a detailed theory or philosophy, then we're going to learn how to work with our community. And
well, if I could just
go ahead.
Say, I was a founding member of the Mayor's Gang Task Force.
Okay.
Because I'm a social worker, so I work with kids in foster care that are taken from their homes because of problems at home, and they recreate their own family, which is called the gang.
Right.
And so I was working with the kids in foster care that were migrated into the gangs.
Okay.
So I got funding from the city, $600,000 one year, $250,000 another year, and we did a 4-year project. And we had community centers with all the other people and the police. Okay. And that was an era during Susan Hammer's time, where and Covarrubias became the chief of police. And we're doing community policing because I could go to a community center with a police officer from the gang unit or violent crimes, and we could do a presentation to the kids, to the parents, to the families about the dangers of gang involvement.
And that's what we need to do.
That was community policing. And instead of saying chief or lieutenant, Rod Davis. we would go to San Juan Bautista for a week-long conference
Okay.
every year.
Yeah.
And we play pool at night, drink beer. Of course, Davis didn't drink beer because it's Mormon.
Right.
But we got along very well, and we could call on each other.
Right.
And I would call on them, and they would call on me.
And now you don't have that.
No.
Anyway, I'm going to let you go. I think things are going. I'll be in touch with you.
Thanks for being here
We'll get in
today.
touch.
We appreciate